NYSC be scrapped? You are my guest for today. I don't have an analyst in the studio with me because you are the ones who have to serve. Your parents are the ones who have to watch you go and serve. Your guardians are the ones who have to watch you go and serve. So you are the ones for whom it's pinching, and therefore you have the answer to this question. Incidentally, the House of Reps is debating a bill to scrap the NYSC. The sponsor of the bill is Awaji Inimbeka Biante, and he believes that the youth cause has outlived its purpose. He says that it has failed to promote national unity and that it is exposing corpers to workplace exploitations and physical danger. Yesterday's big hard fact. According to the NYSC, 4.7 million corpers have participated in the program since inception in 1973. 4.7 million. Now, what does the program hope to have done through these 5 million men and women? Well, broadly, the NYSC has two sets of goals. Number one, national unity and economic development. So what we're doing today is looking at the NYSC as it is and asking whether it is achieving those goals: national unity, economic development. If this is the best way to achieve these goals, now you go tell me. If this is a necessary way to achieve these goals, now you go tell me. Lagos, it's a conversation between you and me. Like I said, I want to know if you think that the NYSC program has achieved its goals well enough to be retained, and if it's done so in a way that is worth the cost. By cost, I don't just mean the money that is spent on the program. I mean the cost of the corpers as well. The discomfort, the danger, and for some, death. So let's start with national unity. The basic idea was that by making young people live and work for 1 year in a different state, NYSC would help them see a sense of oneness, help them develop a sense of oneness with other Nigerians. They'll see that the prejudices that they may have learned about people of other tribes, like they'll drag you to court, or that they are quiet, or that any of the prejudices, really, just, you name it. So any of the prejudices you've learned about other tribes and religions are false. You're going to see through NYSC that we are all the same. That was the goal. The question is, has this happened? If it has happened with corpers as individuals, has it translated to a more unified, more integrated, less intolerant nation? Are Nigerians less prejudiced against each other along ethnic and religious lines than they were in 1973? Are they less so today than they were in 1973? And I promise I did not set up this topic on purpose after Madam Landlord. All right? It wasn't deliberate. Because that's the ultimate test of the NYSC as a national unifier. Now, let me take you back to today's big hard fact. 4.7 million Nigerians have done NYSC since it started. Assuming that all of them are alive today, they're not. It would mean that at most 2.5% of Nigerians have done NYSC. That's because the program is open to university and polytechnic graduates only. In fact, in most years, NYSC has only about 200,000 corpers. So the question is, are these numbers actually large enough to make an impact on national orientation and national unity? 4.7 million? 200,000 a year? 4.7 million total, 200,000 a year in some years. Now, on the other hand, those couple 100,000 corpers are each interacting with hundreds of other Nigerians during their service here. They work alongside them, they live near them, they go to church or to mosque with them. So the argument is that even if they're just 200,000, say 200,000, maybe their presence is making 10 million people have a positive view of non-indigens. What do you think? Has it worked? 48 years in, that's how long we've been doing this thing. 48 years in, has the NYSC increased national unity, or has it failed to make a dent? And if you believe that it hasn't succeeded, what do you think the way forward should be? If you believe that it has succeeded, has it been worth the hardships and the dangers that the corpers face? Men, call me on 0700-993-993-993. Women, call me on 01465-7190. Men, 0700-993-993-993. Women, 01465-7190. Let's talk to Abednego first. Abednego, how are you?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you. To be fair, maybe in the 80s, 90s, and I was not born in the 80s, but when it first came to be from the 70s, maybe it was very active because things were a little bit better. In the cause to unite everyone, to try to see everybody as one. But in the present house on, I don't think it's safe enough to keep it. Perhaps what are the programs really that have been run with NYSC, to be fair? The only way such would keep going on is, can we have it virtually, please?
Virtually?
Yes,
how will that work?
You go work.
How will that work? Tell me.
Yes,
there's no internet in my village, and there are core members in my village.
You see, now that's the thing.
So how will it work?
You go spread this thing for me, Maurice.
Sorry.
The thing here is that for those that can access internet, let's start with them. How about a youth corpers app created whereby they can join in conversation day to day? I think a company is trying to do it with an app now for connection of youth corpers, jobs, and where to go, where it's safe and where not to. Unless that's going to happen, then again, if you want to meet in person, can you not send them to the states that are not secure at the moment? Because these are part of the reasons why it's not safe enough to keep it. I don't even think in my time, if I'm opportune, that I will go. I'd rather sit down and move on with life like nothing ever happened. Because then again, in all of these things, have they taken note of persons living with disabilities, really? That's just what I think. Because nobody's paying for bad stuff. So imagine something crazy happens right now. Where is someone who is on a wheelchair running to? Where is a person who is really impaired running to? So there are reasons for it to be stopped, and then maybe create other programs whereby you can go to a location near you for tech, for other amazing stuff, because there are beautiful talents in this country. But if we're waiting for Copper We to go and do Ajuwaya, he might not last.
Abednego, thank you very much for calling. Has the 48 years we've spent doing NYSC for one of its chief goals to increase national unity, has it worked? Has it failed to make a dent? We've got Alex in Ikeja on the line. Alex, welcome. How are you?
Hello, Sandra.
How are you? I'm good.
Yes, I want to ask you a question. Could you imagine if the NYSC were privatized?
Okay, I'm listening.
That means share the country into like six geopolitical, give one contractor one part, and all those things. Will it work?
What do you mean work now?
Good. That's it. You see where I'm going?
Okay.
Our minds in this part of the world are not trained to make government projects work.
Okay.
They just don't work because we don't put in the necessary commitments to make them work. It's like Nigeria Airways. You see what is wrong with the NYSC? It's the same thing that is wrong with every other project, even the unbundling of NEPA.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
But how would a private entity get around the problem of national unity?
No, I'm saying that if government decides to... Our system, right, the selfishness of all citizens, if government decides to put this in private hands, somehow it will work. The thing that has failed in public space, it will work as a private... let me tell you, even if NYSC was made, apart from national integration, even if it was made for them to be having party every day for the next 1 year, it will still work. because people are collecting the contracts. That's how it is in Nigeria. We should learn to make government projects work for people.
Okay, but I'm still struggling to see. I'm still struggling to see how a private organization or different private organizations will improve national unity, because that's one goal of NYSC.
Well, let's look at the power situation. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. If you put it in their hands, their money is in their hands, it will work. I'm telling you. I'm not even suggesting that they should privatize NYSC.
Yeah, but you just know, say if we did a hand, go work.
We don't know how to make government things work. Nigeria, they are clamoring right now for another national carrier. It will still not work if we have not learned our lessons. When government officials want to be entering aeroplane free, they don't want to be paying. Have we gone past that discipline by now? We haven't. It's just who we are.
Okay, Alex. Thank you very much for calling. 99.3, hello.
Hello, good evening, Sandra.
Good evening, how are you?
My name is Ade. I'm calling from the U.
Ade, has the NYSC increased national unity, or has it failed to make a dent?
At the early stage, I can say maybe it's okay or it's working, but for us, by now, that thing is fraud. The reason why I say so is this: the ways our own sons and daughters we go from here to north, all these things. They will come back empty-handed. Their own sons and daughters will come here, go to airport, go to Nigeria Port Authority, go to border. Immediately they came here, they will just employ them. They will not go back. Our own sons and daughters will go. So for now, it's a fraud. They should reform it so that everybody will stay in his own geopolitical and serve there. By now, it's a fraud. That thing is not working again. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. But if everybody stays in their own geopolitical zones, that defeats the purpose. That defeats one of the major goals of NYSC. Because don't forget what I said when we started. I said that the two main goals of the NYSC was number one, national unity, number two, economic development. That's why the program was developed. Number one, national unity. Number two, economic development. The basic idea was that by making young people live and work for 1 year in a different state, NYC would help them develop a sense of oneness with other Nigerians. Don't forget that NYC started after the Civil War. So it was started as a scheme to get every Nigerian to see that we are one. You see that all the things, all the ideas or the notions that you have about other tribes or other religions are not true, and that we are all the same. That's why my question is, has it happened? Has it worked? If it has happened with Corpers as individuals, has it translated to a more unified, more integrated, less intolerant nation? Are Nigerians less prejudiced today than they were in 1973, along ethnic lines, along religious lines? Because that's the ultimate test of the NYSC as a national unifier. I-Square is in Ojo. I-Square, how are you?
Yes, this is I-Square Okori. I'm calling from Ojo.
Welcome, I-Square. Go ahead.
Yes, I think it has failed on that purpose of establishing it.
Okay.
Both national unity and economic value.
Okay.
Because some may tell us that when they are doing this service, that is how when they married.
Mm-hmm.
No, they did not look at people that were killed, like maybe in the north by Shaya boys, Alamajiri.
Okay.
I was doing a community development service where I wanted to look for sponsorship for that project.
Mm-hmm.
They told me that because the north, two persons told me that it happened in Adeja. Justice. So looking at it, the unity is not there. Now looking at the end of it, after youth service, they become unemployed, jobless, no skills. So can we say that there's value? So why not use that money? I think there's information that they budget like 400,000 naira for each person. Why not use that money to give to those graduates to acquire skills? Now also, even when they are sick, government don't pay them. When I went to Aqua Hospital in Kano for this thing, I wanted them to pay me the NYC. They said that because Aqua Hospital is a private hospital, they only pay government. And I was seriously sick, and I needed to get some money and go back to hospital again. And Kano also. So if you look at all the purpose of establishing it, you discover that NYSC for me. Okay, for you. Okay, lastly, in Israel, they integrate military to it. Okay, at the end of the NYSC, those who are good at military, who are good maybe to join your safety, please, help them to create jobs and acquire more skills and also empower them. But all those things are not working. For me, I think they should scrap it. NYSC for me is a proud. Thank you.
All right, I Square. Thank you very much for calling. Let's go to WhatsApp where Gideon from Ojodu says the NYC has been made lame not because it cannot work, but because of regional greed for political power and the elderly greed that kept recycling themselves in political office, plus the fuel of religion in the mix. Gideon, thanks for your message. Also from WhatsApp, good afternoon, Sandra. I totally support the bill to scrap the NYSC. The two basic purposes hasn't worked for one kobo, but rather it's gulping our national treasury. I would rather suggest that the funds this NYSC is taking be channeled to building industries for the graduating students. NYSC now is a total collapsed institution. That's Obede Nduka with that message there on WhatsApp. Another message here, why can't the NYSC as a form of military training for our graduates for a year or two? That's how other countries like China, America, Israel, India do their graduates once they graduate from school. That's actually not true for America and Israel and India. I don't know about China. I'm not sure about Israel either, but India and America, that's not what happens. But yeah, Ifeanyi says that they serve their country by joining the army, or they should just suspend it but not scrap it. Okay. Well, America definitely doesn't make its graduates join an army. That doesn't happen. We've got more messages on WhatsApp. NYSC doesn't work in isolation as a unifying factor. There are other complements required to make it do what it was created to do. If the other factors are in place, it will work. Well, I'm curious what these other factors are. Could you please share them with me, please? Thank you very much. Let me come back to the phone lines before we have to take a break. Hello.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. What's your name? Good evening.
It's Rita. Since your station started this debate as well, and I've been moved about it, but now I think I should speak.
Okay.
Because two are the main purpose, and I believe since the inception of this NYSC, I believe those that might have benefited from them being some are already in our political seats. And when you come to this minister appointment, you will still see the tribalism there. You can see someone in the seat, he still wants his own. You see the other one in this office, he still wants his own. Then I am asking, it's still not been achieved.
Okay.
To stop deceiving ourselves.
Okay.
48 years, those that might have passed through it, they might have been in big offices, they might have been in big positions, but when it comes for an opportunity to show what they have learned, my sister is not there. So it's better for them to scrap it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Richard, for calling. So I did a quick Google search, and Israel has mandatory military service for all citizens, but America doesn't do that. I know that America definitely doesn't do that. I've got an intern who joined us from America in the studio, and when the guy said that thing, she was like, yeah, no. She was shaking her head like, no, it's not true. 99.3, hello, how are you? Hello?
Hello.
How are you? What's your name? Good evening.
Good evening, Sandra. I'm Ezedum from Seoul, brother.
Welcome, Ezedum.
Thank you very much. I support that NYC should be scrapped.
Okay.
You see, the targets have been met. Nigeria today are united. After for something years, we are together. And then we will check.
Ezedum, are you there? Oh no, sorry about that. Call back if you can. I think he was saying Nigerians are united. Or I'm not sure what the point was he was making. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
How are you, sir? What's your name? Hello.
My name is Matthias.
Matthias, can you speak closer to the phone? Because I don't want to struggle to hear you.
All right. Good evening, Sandra.
Good evening. Welcome.
Matthias.
Yes, welcome, Matthias.
Yes, okay. My take on this discussion is this. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Your take on this discussion is?
Okay, right from the section of this program, of this NIC, it's faulty because they did it just to unify Nigeria after the Civil War.
Okay.
And to me, it's like it's no longer working.
Okay.
And the mistake they made right from the section was that they started this thing on the people notes. Because if you to the history, go to history, all the Igbo people that have thousands and millions of pounds there in the bank, it's only 20 pounds.
Okay.
But you set up this thing 73 to say you unify. What kind of unification is that? That's number one. Okay. And secondly, it's no longer working. If you have something in your house, even you are bulb, electricity bulb in the house, if you look, it's not working, change it. I think they have to sit down and look around this matter and scrap it. It's no longer paying us.
So you think it should be scrapped, huh?
Totally. Totally.
All right, Matthias, thank you very much for calling. Let me go back to WhatsApp where we've got some messages. If everyone has a sense of belonging and the patriotic factor due to good governance, it will work. NYC cannot work well without good governance. All right. So the gentleman who sent, or gentlewoman, I don't know, you didn't send your name, who sent that message earlier on about other factors having to be in place for NYSC to work, just sent what he thought those other factors would be. Because he says NYSC cannot work in isolation as a unifying factor. If you just tuned in, hello, you're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Here's today's big hard fact. According to the NYSC, 4.7 million corpers have participated in the program since inception in 1973. The program hopes to have done through these 5 million people 2 things. Number 1, unify the nation. Number 2, develop the nation's economy. So that's what we're talking about on the show today. We took number 1 first. We're focusing on unifying the nation right now. Right? So we're looking at that. Has the NYSC achieved that particular goal? Because that's the ultimate test as a national unifier. The core members, 4.7 million people who have passed through this system, has it translated to a more unified, more integrated, less intolerant nation? Are Nigerians less prejudiced against each other along ethnic lines, along religious lines today than they were in 1973? Because if you assume that all 4.7 million people are alive today, it would mean at most 2.5% of Nigerians have done NYSC. In most years, NYSC has only about 200,000 core members. So the question is, are these numbers actually large enough to make an impact on national orientation and unity? Now, on the other hand, you would say that, these couple 100,000 core members are interacting with you and me and the rest of the country during their service here. They're working alongside each other, alongside us. They are living near us. We're going to church with them. So they're mingling with millions of people, right? So the argument is, even if they're just 200,000, maybe their presence is making 10 million people have a positive view of non-indigens. Because that's what NYSC is supposed to do. Has it worked? 48 years later, has the NYSC increased national unity? Has it failed to make a dent? If you believe it has not succeeded, what do you think the way forward should be? If you believe it has it been worth the hardships, the dangers that the corpers face? I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. We'll take a break, Lagos. We'll be right back. Yes, we are. It's 5:32. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. The conversation we're having today is should NYSC be scrapped? According to the NYSC, 4.7 million core members have participated in the program since inception in 1973. Now, this program hopes to achieve two things. The first one is national unity. The second one is economic development. Let's talk about economic development, shall we? That's the next thing. Let's look at the NYSC's economic goals. The idea is to send the best educated Nigerians every year to places where their skills are needed. This is supposed to speed up economic growth. It's also supposed to get employers used to hiring people from other states and make the core members themselves willing to live and work outside their states of origin. Many states get maybe a couple thousand corpers per batch. Lagos gets about 6,000. Can 6,000 corpers a year make an impact on a state's economy? Let me put it in context. At the end of last year, there were 69.6 million Nigerians in the labor force. That's according to the NBS. Let's say that about 400,000 of that number were core members. So the core members make up half of 1% of the entire labor force. Now, do you believe that half of 1% of the labor force can have a significant impact on the national economy? Share your thoughts with me on Facebook. We're streaming live, Nigeria Info 99.3. We're also streaming on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. Can they have a significant impact on the labor force itself? Do you believe that half of 1% of the labor force can have a significant impact on the national economy and on the labor force itself? Now, we could point to some parts of the labor force where core members are a big force. Teaching, for example. Lots of public secondary schools rely on corpers to fill up teaching positions, right? Because the state and the local governments are not budgeting enough for teacher training or for salaries. So in the last couple of weeks, you've heard people who will say, well, rural secondary education will suffer because a lot of states don't have teachers, and the only way that a lot of these schools in these different states can have teachers is because of the NYSC. And that's why some people support for the NYSC to go on. But the people who criticize this, the NYSC staying on, they say that rural secondary education is suffering already. And using corpus to teach is making it worse. 2 years ago, I told you how the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria warned the NYSC to stop posting corpus to teach schools if they don't have a degree in education. Do you remember when we had that conversation? Because it's not good enough to send math graduates to go and teach math, for example. And you ask government officials about this, they acknowledge the problem, but they say, we don't have a choice because there's no money to budget for new teachers. But you have people who disagree. They say that offices like education ministries are choosing not to budget because they know that they will get a steady supply of corpers as cheap labor. And so instead of putting money into training and recruiting the workers that should replace the core members, they just wait for the next batch. And it's not only a government problem. We see it in the private sector as well. There are a lot of companies that focus on recruiting corpers. And they end up not retaining the corpers at the end of the service year. They just replace them with the next batch just to keep the labor cheap. And what happens to the corpers who have been discharged? Well, most of them join the growing ranks of the unemployed. But the NYSC says, we can help with that. They say, we're teaching the core members skills that they need for self-employment. Now, I want to know if that's true. If you're a recent core member, if you're currently serving, if you finished serving, tell me, if that happened to you. Current corpers, people who passed out in, say, the last 5 to 6 years. What skills did you learn directly from the NYSC that you believe are helpful for self-employment? Are you currently self-employed because of the skills you learned from the NYSC? That's for Corpers. Everybody else, tell me the impact you think that NYSC has had on the economy. Now, remember that I shared figures with you, right? Corpers make up less than half of 1% of the labor force. Can these corpers be redeployed in different ways to increase their economic impact? Does the Corps teach them the skills that they need, the necessary skills that they need for self-employment? Have employers, especially government, gotten lazy about hiring permanent staff because they know that they're going to get new corpers every year? Men, call me on 0700-993-993-993. Women, call me on 01465-7190. We've got WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 080-959-75805. On Twitter, 63.4% of the voters think that NYSC should be scrapped. 36.6% of the people who have voted said nope, it should not be scrapped. I wonder if Femi from Surulere agrees or disagrees. Welcome, Femi.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good evening, sorry.
All join.
Yeah. See, it's just so funny how we hear these things and the government makes it sound like they are doing one big responsibility. See, the training that they are talking about, the core members pay for them.
What do you mean?
Yes. There's something called SAID, Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development.
Okay.
Core members that are enrolled for SAID are supposed to use that SAID for this one day, that's what they call it, CDS.
Right.
Yes, CDS,
Right.
I get it.
Right.
They pay for those skill acquisitions. It's not that it's free because NYSC will partner with private organizations, IT firms that are into training, project management and all that. Core members will pay for them, though it may not be at the full price, but it's not free.
Wow.
So core members, one way or the other, will still struggle to use their 30,000, or it used to be 19,800. Yeah, use their 30,000 naira and their meager whatever that they get, if at all their PPA pays them. So pay for this skill acquisition. So it's not like government is doing it free for them. Yes, it is a system I passed through, and I know how it works.
Is it helpful though?
Is it what?
Is it helpful?
To an extent, it is, because depending on what you want, I'm into IT, and I know how deficient the school system is in Nigeria. So I had to do some personal training, which I had to pay for, and I learned some things about foreign languages, which is personally useful for me. So it's not that NYSC is saying they are coming to cover up for this. They don't do that. You have to pay for it. And those people would in turn still pay NYSC. I wonder where that money they pay NYSC, I wonder where it is going.
So do you think that it has met its goal, its economic development goal?
It hasn't. It hasn't. Because how many core members will be able to afford this? A lot of the primary assignment places do not pay. Do not pay core members. Core members would have to rely only on what the government pays. So how much would you be removing as feeding allowance, transportation, and all that? Then you will still want to pay for training. So most corpers don't do those training. Only a few who are privileged. I was opportune to serve in Lagos, where is my residence. So I go from home. I still get a little money from home. I got paid where I served. So that's why I was able to do one or two extra training.
So what impact do you think NYSC has had on the economy?
Well, I would say for a few persons, just a few, I would probably say 10-15% who got retained in their places of primary assignment. Aside that, it has not really gotten any economic impact per se on individuals, except for the opportunity of tourism. You get to meet people in other cultures and all that. But economically, absolutely no.
All right, Femi, thank you very much for calling. Always a pleasure to hear from him. 99.3. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. Women, call us on 01465-7190. Hello, thank you for calling us. Hello?
Hello.
Hello? You're calling the female line. You're calling the female line. Call us back, okay? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
How are you, sir? What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Joshua. I'm calling from Aja.
Welcome, Joshua.
Yeah. Concerning what you're talking about,
Yeah.
I think my opinion is that it has actually worked very well because I have so many of my friends,
Okay.
so many of my colleagues at that time that we did the NYC together. Based in Akwa Ibom, Port Harcourt, even Kano. Most of them are based there now, and they got married to the individuals there.
Okay.
For me, I would rather say many of our opinions are just based on personal things. We have not been talking on statistic analysis from NYSC itself and from the government, Office of Democracy, to tell us or to let us know if it is actually working or not.
Okay, if what part is working? If NYSC itself is working?
Yes.
Okay.
It has fulfilled its purpose.
Yeah, but
we need the statistics. Most of the times we are just talking.
But I gave you the premise for which you can judge by yourself because you are a discerning individual.
Your premise is not based on any statistics.
No, my premise is based on NYSC's own goals.
Okay,
NYSC's own goals are number one, national unity, number two, economic development. And I'm saying based on those two, has it achieved its number one mission, which is to unify the nation?
But we cannot say categorically except we get the statistics from NYSC or from the government office.
But you just said yes categorically that it has achieved.
Yes, because I based on my own personal understanding of.
So you're doing the same thing you're accusing everybody of doing.
That's what I'm saying. We are not giving the right information because everybody is basing their information on personal information.
Oh, I'm sorry. Call back if you can, because I really quite like the point he raised. And my next question was going to be: does he believe that Nigeria is more unified now than it was in 1973 when NYSC was founded? And really, what people can go by, sometimes it's you with science, it's observation. A lot of science is observation, right? And how do you observe? Is to take a phenomenon. So this thing was set up to fix this problem. So anti-malaria medication was created to fix malaria or to cure malaria or to treat malaria. Since people started taking this anti-malaria medicine, how many of them still used to die from malaria if they treat the malaria on time? So you take a look at the before and the after. That's how you get data. Data is not manufactured. It's not magic. You yourself can take a look at what's happening and you can infer for yourself, okay, well, I think that it has achieved this particular goal or it hasn't achieved this particular goal. Now, he says in his personal opinion, we're more united. He also says that he thinks that it has had economic impact, but he would like to see numbers from the NYSC itself. Sam in Lagos Island, hello.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Thank you for calling. Can you speak up, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear. I could hear you before, but your voice is low. So could you speak up, please?
I'm trying my best.
Okay.
I don't want to shout.
Okay.
You're doing a good job, and your station has been trying to say these things, but I couldn't call. But now I'm opportune to call, and I appreciate that. What people really don't understand is that this thing has really phased out, and has not really impacted nothing to the economy. The government keeps spending, and they are not getting that, or they are not achieving their aim. Okay, why not? Let's put it this way. Why not the federal government find a special day for the country and give a free travel, a free trip to every part of the country to enhance trade? There should be free transportation to anywhere in the country. Then when you go there, you can just buy your things and go back to your place. I feel that will bring more unification to us. Because if NYSC, I don't see the impact.
You think one day of travel will bring more unification than 1 year of living among the people?
I feel so. Every year. Instead of this NYSC, I'm not calling it crap. Like, seriously, it doesn't make any sense at all.
All right. Thank you, Sam, for calling. Sam thinks that 1 day of traveling to different parts of the country for free to go and trade could unify us more than 200,000 people living in different parts of the country for an entire year. Do you agree with him? All right, we've got a message here from Denike. Denike says, is there a way to measure national unity without asking people about their perceptions? There isn't. Denike, thank you very much for your message. I'm guessing you were responding to the caller before Sam. Mrs. Sandra, hard facts should be scrapped totally unless it can be reformed and renamed to be made compulsory IT, and each person on their field of operation, not doctor teaching in a remote village saying that he's serving his fatherland. It's a means of fund wastage and year wastage. How many children of the rich do you see schooling? Not to talk of serving. That's a message from Pastor OAJ from Risen Christ. Thank you, Pastor OAJ, for your message. I don't know why you people think the children of the rich don't serve. When I served, there were rich kids on my camp, or in my camp. You know, they served alongside us, you know, and they stayed for the entire 3 weeks and went on to go and live the rest of their service afterwards. So I don't know why people think rich kids don't serve. We've got a serving copper. Fantastic. And, I'm sorry. Okay, so first of all, are you male or female, or you're male? Unfortunately, you're going to have to call 0700 993 993 993. I think you should write it in this message that you've sent to me on WhatsApp, so that, you can type it down and you always have it. 0700 993 993 993. His name is Onyenkeme, and he says government and private establishments are using core members for cheap labor. While the skill acquisition just started recently, if you're not a quick learner, you will not learn anything because it is not up to good 2 hours. Oh, wow. Really? All right, Onyenkeme, thank you very much for your message, and thank you for serving the country. We've got Ade from Sulere, who says everything about... Ade, your messages are always very gang. Wow. NYC should be scrapped immediately. Waste of time. The government and private sector are using the core members for cheap labor. They create more industries to absorb these graduates through work placement programs. To start with, how many of these politicians and family members went through the real NYSC exercises? Most of them bypassed the program or wrangled to be exempted, or they carry fake certificates. How accurate are the figures that they are flying around? All right. Thank you very much for your message, Ade. We've got Limco, who says the goal for creating the scheme is long overdue. I don't want it completely scrapped, but I want it to be reformed into an entrepreneurship workshop. Then the product from the workshop should be made available for consumption in the society. Limco on Twitter, thank you very much for your message. Niger Volunteers on Twitter says, once we discovered Kemi Adeosun, but she was not deemed unfit to serve her fatherland because NYC was used as a tool to discriminate. Same have the likes of Aboyeji and more, whom will not be obliged to waste 12 months of their career doing some NYC that has no value to add. All right, Niger Volunteers, thank you for your message. Charles Mba says the NYC scheme has achieved this purpose. However, they need to plan ahead for a growing population of graduates. The need to plan ahead for a growing population of graduates has not been seen to dignify core members rather than this scheme. Charles, thanks for your message. We've got St. Ethan, who says the current atmosphere warrants that it should be scrapped. Anyone that supports it should be asked if they can allow their sibling to be posted to the north to start with. Lily J says, I think it should be scrapped or should be suspended for now, given that the nation is facing a high level of insecurity. We cannot risk more lives. Charles says, oh, that's Charles Mai, not Mba, I'm sorry. Charles says, NYC needs restructuring, not scrapping. All right, we can take one final call and then I'll give you a chance to win some money. 99.3. Sorry about that. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Hello?
Thank you for calling. What's your name?
Ladi.
Welcome.
Yeah, I think NYC should be scrapped. It's a total waste of time. It has outlived its usefulness. It does not make sense. I hate the philosophy behind it. It's a waste of time. That's my contribution.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't think it's a waste of time. Well, I'm not going to be sharing my personal opinion on the subject. 99.3. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Can I play with just a minute now?
No, you can't. It's not 55. Have you heard Creditville?
No.
So you know that you can't play just a minute now, just yet. But thank you very much for calling. If you just joined the show, you're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. And we just had a conversation about the NYSC, about this bill introduced by Awaji Inimbek Abiante at the House of Reps, looking to scrap the NYSC because he says that it has failed to promote national unity and that it's exposing core members to workplace exploitation and physical danger. So we talked about the two goals of the NYSC when it was set up in 1973. Number one, to foster national unity. Number two, economic development. And we talked about the first one, national unity. And my question to you, has it done that? Is your perception of where we were at in 1973 and where we are at today a more unified Nigeria or a less unified Nigeria? Do we think of other tribes as we think of ourselves, or do we still think of them as different from ourselves? Do we think of other religions as we think of our religion, or do we still think of those religions as different from ourselves? That's what national unity looks like. That's what perception is. How do you perceive other tribes, other religions? Do you think we're more united as a nation now than we were in 1973 when this scheme was founded? And then we moved to the economy. The idea was to send the best educated Nigerians every year to places where their skills are needed. It's supposed to speed up economic growth. It's supposed to get employers used to hiring people from other states, make core members themselves willing to live and work outside their states of origin. Has it worked? Let's take a break.
Old and needs a replacement? Do you need a loan for personal or business use? Whatever your business or personal need, Creditville has
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.